Thunder damage. Thunder damage is one of the stranger types of damage in Dungeons & Dragons, since it essentially means sound damage, and yet it's still considered an elemental type, going hand in hand almost interchangeably with lightning damage. But it's also related to sonic blasts and things like that. Spells like Booming Blade, Destructive Wave, most elemental spells like Absorb Elements and Elemental Weapon, Shatter, Storm of Vengeance, Thunderstep, Thunderclap, Thunder Smite, and Thunder Wave are all spells that use thunder damage. Not a ton of spells there. It's one of the rarer damage types, I'd say. It's almost more appears more on like the resistances and vulnerability section of a creature than in the actual damage aspect of it. One spell that's related to thunder damage that I think is really thematic is Silence, where anyone in the area is deafened but immune to thunder damage because they can't, hear sound, which I love that. Oh, also the main two types of spells that thunder damage is related to is outside of the elemental stuff because that covers the wider area, but mainly Evocation, which makes sense, blasting and damaging, and then Conjuration, like Thunderstep, which release thunder, and then Teleport and a few others, like Storm of Vengeance is Conjuration because you summon storms. So basically it's confined to those two skills of magic, basically. Also, another thing I love about thunder damage is a lot of spells like Thunderclap say that they can be heard up to 300 feet. Unfortunately, this is like not a huge incentive to casting spells, but it does have a second usefulness. Like, oh, I need to warn the guards or whatever that there's bad guys coming. Thunderclap. So it's like there's a lot of fun options because of that noise, secondary uses, which is nice. Again, with so many of the spells named have thunder in their name, it's pretty easy to tell what spells do that. Again, as you can see, their effects are very like sonic based, or kind of almost lightning based, or with storm and so on. Creatures like sloths that are resistant to elemental damage types are resistant to thunder. Elementals of air and lightning, like the air elemental and Myrmidon, Arclight Phoenix Dust Devils, Djinni, Elder Tempest, Flux Chargers, all those types are resistant to thunder, as well as Sapphire Dragons are immune to it. The Earth Elemental has vulnerability to thunder, as well as certain objects. And this sort of, I like this little, thunder has so many cool flavors, being sound, so silence makes unaffected, being very effective against objects, like Shatter, creatures who are made of inorganic material have disadvantage on the save, so constructs basically, which I like a lot. Many of the lightning and thunder themed creatures, of course, can deal thunder damage and are resistant against it, as well as most creatures that can deal sound type damage. Thunder is involved in that. In terms of, there's not many subclass abilities that do it. Ones that off the top of my head are Thunder Gauntlets from the armor, and then of course the Tempest Domain, who can maximize thunder damage and has other thunder related abilities as well as lightning. There's a few other abilities, but not many. But thunder can have a ton of interesting flavor. For imagine like the Scribe's Wizard, where you can do like Wall of Fire as like a sonic barrier, with like Scribe's Wizard, and then like many pushing effects. I mean, can easily be made thunder, and it's very thematic. Again, one of the reasons why I love Psychic, same reason why I love thunder, is because it has such great themes. Big question is, what makes this different than, say, like bludgeoning or force, and lightning? Because it's not always core. Okay, so we understand that lightning is electricity. That's what it is. So that's different from thunder, which is like, if an explosion hits from thunder is like, it's sonic backlash. So not similar to lightning, right? We got that. Now bludgeoning is physical impacts by tangible things. So if I grab a club and I whack you with it, that's going to have a physical impact and it's going to hurt. And there you go, that's bludgeoning, right? Thunder, there's no physical impact involved. It's like, you know, sound waves. It's you know, like I said, the impact of an explosion that pushes you back. It's that raw force from moving sound waves or whatever in the air. Now force is pure magical energy confined in a damaging form. So it's, you know, like magic missile. So force is different because it's, while thunder is something that can happen in the real world, force damage can't. It's the only, I think the only thing that can't, which is why it's is because it is literally raw energy. I mean, raw, yeah, force. Now, because of the similarities, you sometimes see the resistances or immunities or whatever in tandem, like like something that's resistant to thunder and lightning, like storm giants. But and then you have some that are resistant to both thunder and bludgeoning. But then you have like skeletons who are vulnerable to bludgeoning but not thunder, which makes sense because like bludgeoning is more of a fierce impact, cracking bone, where you couldn't necessarily do that with because of force. So I again, another reason why I love that attention to detail with thunder. One of the reasons why I like thunder, and same reason why I like psychic, because its own great themes. Even more so because of the little object and sound ways that they kind of sneak in there, which is always fun. Again, it's one of the rarer types. Surprisingly highly resistant, but fortunately it's pretty easy to predict like what creatures are. It's an elemental damage type, which means there's a lot you can do with it in that regard. And yeah, so thank you for watching. Stodec Dungeon signing out.